Alright, so Saxon Course 2, Lesson 9, adding, subtracting, and multiplying fractions, and then reciprocals. So first I need to find the sum of each of these fractions. For this first one, I'm just going to be adding those three fractions together. So I have 1/7 plus 2/7 plus 3/7. Now with fractions, the denominator has to be the same, which in this case it is. So I'm going to just keep the denominator the same, and then I add the numerator. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. So my answer is 6/7. Now when we're working with mixed numbers, I'm going to want to stack those two numbers to make it easier to add them. So I'm going to line up my whole numbers, so 33 1/3, and my fractions, 33 1/3%. Okay, so I'm going to add the fraction first. 1/3 plus 1/3 is 2/3, because the denominator stays the same. And then 33 plus 33 is 66. So my answer is 66 2/3%. So this one asks, how much money is 1/4 of a dollar plus 3/4 of a dollar? So if I add 1/4 plus 3/4, okay, the denominator stays the same, and then 1 plus 3 is 4. So my answer is 4/4. Now if I have the same number on the top and the bottom, that is the same as 1. So my answer is going to be 1 whole dollar. And this next one wants me to find the difference. Again, with fractions, the denominator has to be the same when subtracting as well as adding. So since this part has mixed numbers, I'm going to stack the numbers together. So 3 5/9 minus 1 1/9. The denominators are the same, so I can go ahead and just write the denominator down here, 9, and I'm going to subtract. 5 minus 1 is 4, 3 minus 1 is 2. So my answer is 2 4/9. For this next one, 3/5 minus 3/5, I'm going to keep the denominator the same and then subtract 3 minus 3, which is 0. Now if I have 0 divided by any number, you already know that your answer is going to be 0. Alright, now we're going to find the product of these next numbers. Product means multiply. So if I have 1/2 of 1/3, of means multiply. So I'm going to do 1/2 times 1/3. Now when multiplying fractions, the denominators do not have to be the same. Because when we multiply fractions, we multiply the numerators and we multiply the denominators straight across. So 1 times 1 is equal to 1. 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So my answer is 1/6. For the second one, I have 1/2 times, the dot means times, 3/4 times 1/5. Again, I'm going to multiply straight across the numerators and straight across the denominators. So my answer is going to be 1 times 3 times 1 is equal to 3. 2 times 4 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. So my answer is 3/40. Alright, here it wants me to find the reciprocal of each number below and then multiply the number and its reciprocal. So you learned that the reciprocal, you find the reciprocal by inverting the fraction by switching the numerator and the denominator. So if I have 3/5, the reciprocal is going to be the numerator and denominator swapped or flipped. So 3/5, the reciprocal is going to be 5/3. Okay, and then it wants you to multiply it. So if I multiply those two numbers together, 3 times 5 is 15. 5 times 3 is 15. 15 over 15 is equal to 1. Whenever you multiply a number by its reciprocal, your answer will always be 1. So let's try it with the second one. So here we have 3. Now I need to change 3 into a fraction, so I'm going to put it over 1. 3 over 1 is the same as 3. So the inverse, or the reciprocal of this number, I would flip the numerator and denominator, and that would be 1/3. Again, we're going to multiply those two numbers together. So 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. So 3 over 3 is the same as 1. When you multiply a number by its reciprocal, you always get the same. You always get 1. So here, find the missing number. 3/4 times n equals 1. Well, since the answer is equal to 1, I know that I have to multiply 3/4 by its reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 3/4 is 4/3. So again, you flip the two numbers, and that is equal to 1. Okay. To double check, you can always multiply it across. 3 times 4 is equal to 12. 4 times 3 is equal to 12. 12 over 12 equals 1. Okay, this last one, how many 3/4 are in 1? Again, this is just another way to ask you for the reciprocal. So the number of 3/4, how many 3/4 are in 1? There are 4/3. Because this is how it asks you to find the reciprocal. And that's it for this lesson.